When Neville Goddard spoke about the power of imagination, he wasn't just offering a metaphor for hope or a gentle encouragement to think positively. He was unveiling a core spiritual truth, a law of consciousness that, when applied with sincerity and consistency, has the ability to transform your entire life from the inside out. At the center of this transformative power is one fundamental principle. You must live from the end. To put it more simply, you must act like you have already made it. Not pretend in a hollow way, not merely daydream, but fully embody the feeling, the belief, and the identity of someone who already is what they want to become. This is not about arrogance, nor about showing off to others. It's about assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled within your own consciousness, quietly, consistently, and deeply. When you adopt this inner state, when you imagine from the perspective of already having your desire, you impress this idea onto the subconscious mind. According to Neville, the subconscious is the medium through which creation happens. It doesn't argue. It doesn't question. It accepts what you feel to be true, especially when those feelings are sustained over time with vividness and emotional intensity. So, what does it actually mean to act like you've made it? It means shifting your inner conversations, your assumptions, your self-concept, and your decisions to match those of the person you wish to be. If you want to be wealthy, how would the wealthy version of you feel when waking up in the morning? What kind of choices would that version of you make throughout the day? How would you speak to yourself and others? What would you no longer tolerate in your life? This isn't about spending money you don't have or trying to impress anyone. It's about the internal attitude and alignment. Neville often said that imagination is God, and that God is within you. So if you imagine correctly, meaning from the state of already being, then you are aligning with the creative power of the universe. You are becoming a co-creator, a deliberate director of your reality. Too many people make the mistake of trying to manifest from a place of lack, from a place of wanting or wishing. But desire, when paired with a deep feeling of lack, simply perpetuates the absence of the thing desired. The secret is to move beyond desire into fulfillment. And how do you do that? Through assumption, through faith, through inner conviction that what you want is already yours, that it already exists in the unseen, and that it will harden into fact in divine timing. You begin to act as if not to manipulate external events, but to shift your internal state to match the reality you want to experience. You begin to feel what it would feel like if it were already true. This shift is the seed of all creation. The feeling is the secret, as Neville always said. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is the magnetic force that pulls circumstances, people, and opportunities into alignment with your vision. You don't need to know how it will happen. You don't need to control the details. Your job is to accept the end result as real, to live from it, and to remain faithful to that inner reality even when the outer world appears unchanged. Because, as Neville taught, the outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner state. Change the inner state, and the outer must follow. It's law. So, if you truly want to change your life, stop waiting for proof and start acting like you have already made it. Now that we understand the core of Neville Goddard's teaching, acting as if you've already made it, we need to explore what that looks like in real, practical terms. Let's be honest. The world around you may seem completely opposite to the life you want. Your bank account might show a low number. You might be alone when what you want is deep love. You might be in a job you dislike, dreaming of doing something else entirely. But here's the truth Neville emphasized again and again. The outer world is simply a delayed reflection of your inner state. It is not the cause. It is the effect. This is why acting from the place of your desire already being fulfilled is so powerful. You're not ignoring reality. You're changing the seed from which your reality grows. You plant that seed in imagination, in feeling, in thought. And then the world around you begins to rearrange itself to reflect that new assumption. But the question most people ask is, how do I do this when everything feels so real, so fixed, so contrary to what I want? That's where discipline comes in. Mental discipline, emotional persistence. It begins by creating a clear image of what you want. Not a vague hope, but a defined outcome. Then you place yourself within that image, not as an observer, but as a participant. You imagine from within it. using your five senses. You hear what you would hear if it were true. You see what you would see. You feel what you would feel. And above all, you assume the mood, the emotional tone of that experience. It might feel awkward at first. You might have doubts, but that's okay. You don't fight the doubts. You simply return to your assumption over and over. Each time your mind wanders to what's missing, you gently bring it back to what's already true in imagination. You do this in your morning thoughts, in idle moments throughout the day, in the quiet minutes before sleep. You construct the new reality within you and you dwell in it. You make it your mental home. Neville said, think feelingly only of the state you desire to realize. Feeling the reality of the state sought and living and acting on that conviction is the way of all seeming miracles. So if you want change, you must stop responding to the world as it is and start responding to it as you're choosing it to be. You must become the person who has already received, already arrived, already succeeded internally. That may mean you walk with more confidence, that you speak more kindly to yourself, that you say no to things that no longer match the version of you that you're stepping into. It may mean you dress differently, make different decisions, approach each day with the knowing that things are working in your favor, even if you can't yet see how. And this is where it becomes both simple and powerful. You're not waiting anymore. You're not hoping. You're knowing. You're being. You're claiming it with your thoughts, your emotions, your presence. And the subconscious mind, God in action, takes that assumption and begins to express it through form. It's not magic. It's law. It's cause and effect. Many people give up too soon because they keep looking for signs, for results, for evidence. But Neville would say, remain loyal to your unseen reality. When you act as if you've made it, you're not lying to yourself. You're aligning with the deeper truth that all things exist now and that what you assume to be true will become true in your world. You walk by faith, not by sight. That is not blind belief. It is creative consciousness. It's the engine of manifestation. The moment you begin to embody the energy of the version of you who already has it, the outer world will begin to echo that energy back to you. First in small ways. Feelings, synchronicities, ideas. Then in bigger ways, opportunities, people, results. This is why persistence is key. Not forceful effort, but steady assumption. You assume and dwell in the end. If you want to be successful, act like the successful version of you now. Not by faking it, but by feeling it. The version of you who has already made it likely holds a deep sense of peace, confidence, and joy. Begin to cultivate those inner feelings now. When you wake up in the morning, instead of thinking about what you lack, think as if you've already won. Before going to sleep, replay the day in your mind as if everything went perfectly. Use your imagination to revise, to rehearse, to celebrate. Neville called this the art of revision, and it's a powerful way to train your mind to stay loyal to your new identity. You become what you think and feel most consistently. So if you want change, you must stop reinforcing the old state with your reactions and begin feeding the new state with your attention. The more you do this, the more natural it becomes. And then something wonderful happens. You begin to forget the old self. You begin to feel like the new version is the real version. And that's when manifestation accelerates. Because your inner world is no longer contradicting your outer desire. They are in harmony. You are congruent. And creation moves swiftly in the presence of alignment. This is not theory. This is practice. And anyone can do it. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. Begin now. Assume now. Act now. Not outwardly for show, but inwardly for truth. You are already the person you wish to be. Accept that. Feel that. Live from that. And your world will prove it back to you.